Right, we're going to assemble the forks on the WLA, Springer forks. All Springer forks are basically the same setup, like that's a big twin. They have the bottom rockers on the outside, they're a bit beefier. But basically all your Springer forks on Harleys are the same basic setup. So just a bit fiddly to get them all together, you end up scratching them, so be it, you have to touch them up, you know. So they start with your collar on the bottom, which is that one, and your bearing race. So that just gives you just that slight bit of movement with that collar in the bottom. You know, I've seen forks with these and forks without them. Don't know why, but some have them, some don't. It just lets that have a little tiny bit of movement on a rock, yeah? Yeah. So if you've got something slightly out of line, it'll just let it pull in. That's your first bit to go on, is that. Grease is your friend. Not grease is the word. Plenty up in your bearing cups. I've already cleaned all these out, because if you've had a frame blasted, doesn't matter what you do, how much you blow it out, it will still have grit and shit inside it, so just make sure your cups are cleaned out, yeah? Plenty of grease in there to hold all your ball bearings in. If you can, if you're rebuilding them, always use new ball bearings. I bought 1,000 of them about 20 years ago, so
still going.
Plenty of them, yeah.
How many should go in there then?
Can't remember off the top of my head. Just do them till it's full up. You know, when you push them in, you can feel it's on the seat of the cup. The amount of times you do these, you take a set of front forks out, and the ball bearings that's in that headstock, they just fall out where they've fallen in before. Okay, so you can see you've got no gaps there, no ball bearing sticking down further than another one, so you know you've got the right amount in. Trying not to knock the ball bearings, push him up through there. Right, that's all you need. Doesn't need any pressure on it at all. Just enough just to hold them forks up while you get the top started, yeah?
Yeah.
In with the greasy poos. Plenty of it. I mean, these ball bearings can't fall out because of the way it is, but you just want to get nice and greased up so you know it's loaded up.
Again, what kind of grease are you using?
This is just general purpose, multi-purpose grease. Just normal stuff. You know, it's not like a wheel bearing spinning round at 1,000 miles an hour. It's just, it's all you're doing is that, you know.
Yeah.
Right, that's got the right amount in it.
There's no logic behind this one. Dad has got a problem with his back at the moment. He got up out of the chair, he was in so much pain he passed out.
What are you checking for?
Yes, it feels like it's binding a little bit on that, but you don't have to do this. I always put a little bit of grease just on the base of the spring.
So why would you put grease at the bottom of the
Just
spring?
to give it a bit of lube, that's all. Right, so basically that goes in there. and that goes up in there, but you're not going to get the springs on the top, so you have to compress all of that up. I normally do it by just putting a ratchet strap around there. It's fiddly and awkward and horrible, and like I say, you do end up scratching shit, but if you can just get it to hold in there, and then you can play around with your bottom rockers. Once the bottom rockers are in, you might need to compress it a little bit more, but not a lot. Eventually these just go into the shape they want to go, they'll push on. Right, you've got two like balls, just let it rock, yeah? They can only go in one way. That one there is too big to go down in the hole, yeah? So make sure you've got plenty of grease in those. Right, they only go one way, like I said. And they're down in their holes. Top springs have two springs again. One's a buffer. There's all different types of these and top nuts. You get the proper WLA ones are a nut with a lock nut on the top.
Seems to be every time I film you, it goes together nice and easy.
Born lucky. Right, that's gone in, that's gone in. That's gone in, that one needs a bit of a tweak about, so let's give him a tap.
Just show us where you're...
See that spring's doing that?
Yeah.
It's because that bit there isn't over the collar yet. It's not sitting over the top of that properly.
Yes.
There you go, I've got it. Right, so that's your basics of the spring and fork. Now we've got to get our rockers in. So you've got plenty of tension on them now. Wind him over till the fork legs are about in line.
When you say the fork legs are in line, so they're level together?
That way, like that. Because obviously you can tension one spring up and it'll do that.
Okay.
On the other arm.
How accurate should you be or want to be?
It doesn't matter.
You don't need to get level.
Once you've got your rockers in, see, that's got to be wound up a fair bit, yet you'll never get them in there, you see. Let's see if we can get one of those out. Might just get it. Okay, that on there. That on there. Then our spacer. Right, these two front rockers are different. See that one? So that always goes on your brake side.
Yeah.
Give them plenty of grease. Spacer on. Right, washer on. Twat. Spacer on. Pull this into line and then we can hold her there then and put your lock tab on. You don't want to do anything up tight at the moment, just want to get it all in there, you know. I mean, these have all got grease nipples. You can pump grease in them, but while you're assembling it, put grease in it. I remember Peter Harley building an XA, and I had to take the whole bike apart. He didn't grease a thing. He just did it so it looked like, you know. Literally take the whole bloody thing apart.
Fun time, huh?
Yeah, yeah. Right, basically that is your front forks assembled. You don't want to go any more than that at the moment, like tightening all that up, because you've got mudguard stays go on here, all sorts of different stuff.
Yeah.
Spacers, but that's your basic starting point. And what I do to make sure you've got round about the right spring rate, you want to wind them up a lot more than that to start with anyway. But if you measure your top springs, then you know your ballpark with each other, yeah?
Yeah.
So I'll give them a few more turns, nip them down a bit more. Because those rockers are never down at that angle. When it's got the weight of the bike and everything, they come further up. Actually, that's bottomed out, so that's probably too hard there. You see some of these, ping, springs got. You see some of these, and these actually rattle up and down. People like them that soft.
Really?
But I think it's horrible. But right, they're just bottoming out now. So that's start at that. If you can't bounce them up and down when you're on the bike, you just slacken these off. So they should measure up 115. Yeah, they're bang on now. So that's all good. Sweet. That's basically your front fork assembly. Like I say, don't do any of that up tight, because you've got to get your mudguard in and faff around with it all, because they're you've got the big stays that go on the outside and your special locking tabs that go on here, but you'll need to put spacers on, which I've got over there. But that's basically how to assemble the front end on one. It's very easy to do, it's just awkward.
When you say that was easier than it sometimes
sometimes
is.
getting these up and it all can just be a bloody nightmare. Yeah, it's easier with those long nuts that go down inside.
Yeah.
Because the other ones just have a little short bit, and then you do that one up, then you have another lock nut on top on a standard WLA, but they're a lot easier.